feel something. At last!
What is up everyone, it's Doovy again, and in this video I want to talk about how I got my Headhunter this league, which is something that I usually go for as a goal of mine, to get it not really as soon as possible, but just getting it and playing around with it. And then I will talk a little bit how I experienced this league and how I am going to get these kind of items maybe a little bit quicker next league. Things that I learned from this league, and maybe spend some more time in it. Something that I want to start off with is that this league I played around maybe 3 to 4 hours a day. And some days I would not play at all. So I got this Headhunter around two and a half, maybe 3 weeks ago, I would say. So that's not as fast as all the other maybe content creators or hardcore player base gets the Headhunter in within the first 3 weeks. I just play 3 to 4 hours a day. I have some school, I have some work, I spend some time with my girlfriend, but next league I really want to step it up to make some more of these farming strategies, maybe build guides as well. So I want to reflect on that. First of all, how did I get my Headhunter? I farmed 3 regions, and I think that's something that I would do again with this Atlas expansion. It's just really good to focus on one specific region that just generates value for you. For example, starting in Haywork Hamlet was a little bit cheap for me. You didn't need the watchstones necessarily, and it's a low investment, good profit. And then when you move from this area, I went to Leroy Artane, for example, where it was minimal to medium investment. You needed these watchstones to make it, at least work, be efficient, generate some profits. And eventually I was able to get the more expensive watchstones to farm Father's Rest and go for the Harbingers. So that's something that I really want to emphasize. Focus on one thing, and that's a mistake that I made personally. I didn't sell all the other things that I had just piling up in my inventory, right? For example, all these maps here, I sold a lot of them now, but as you can see, they pile up pretty quickly. You do maps, you get 1, maybe 2 maps, you keep getting maps in return, right? Usually. And these maps at the start of the league, they sell for around 10, maybe 15 exalts if there are specific ones that people want and they buy them in bulk. Maybe 15C. Non-sorted ones, 10C. Right now, at the later stages of the league, maybe at the end of the league now actually, they fall down to around 7, 6C, maybe even below. And then I'm talking about the red ones, right? 14, 15, 16s are the most important ones. People want these the most. So yeah, sell those other things that you're just hoarding. All these blueprints, all these contracts, they're worth something, right? Sell it. That's a lot of profit. That's a lot of equity that you actually have and that you're not using. When I was almost at my Headhunter, I had like 120 exalt or something, and I had to push a little bit further. I was so surprised that I had so much equity and just other stuff laying around. So focus on one strategy and not use them, but sell your other stuff. If you are moving from one strategy to another strategy, you're just gonna buy it back, right, in bulk or something specific. For example, my philosophy in the beginning was like scarabs. I want to use scarabs later on. But which scarabs did I use the most? Only Breach and only Harbinger. Only these 2. The rest I should have just sold them. Maybe sooner the better, but selling them is always good. Then what I thought was also a good thing to get Headhunter maybe faster next league is something that I wanted to go for. So next league I'm definitely gonna start with the meta build, something that's already fleshed out. There's a build guide for it. It works. It has been tested, you know, and it's known for being a good build. For example, this league I started with an Exsanguinate Trickster. Exsanguinate being a new skill gem, and it was just rough because I had to figure things out myself. Things were pretty expensive. Didn't know really how to make stuff. And if you have, for example, maybe a Toxic Rain build or an ED Contagion, you know, those builds, they have been around for a longer time. They are optimized. They are good. You know you're not going to struggle with those builds. You choose that build that's already a good league starter. And from there on, you can maybe make other builds. And that's another point. I played this league with a few different characters. I started off, like I said, with a Trickster, Exsanguinate, and then I respec that into a Cast on Crit, Ice Nova. Then I went to level 95, made an Elementalist, invested into that. I even went to hour stacking a little bit, invested in that as well. Then I saw a Self-Chill Berserker, which was really cool, by the way. I really like this build. A lot of my money went that way as well. You know, even though it's like here's 20x, not 20x, there's no hour stacker for 20x. Maybe here goes 50x, maybe here 20, 30x, maybe here you have 60x, and then here, you know, all those things can go to farming, other strategies. Maybe you're Headhunter. You focus maybe on one, and then two builds, and then go from there, right? Lastly, I went for the Deadeye because once I got the Headhunter, there was one thing particularly interesting for me, which was a 5-way carries, and I made this build. I didn't make this build, but I got inspired by Kobe Black Mamba, which is an up-and-coming PoE streamer, content creator. Really recommend checking out his channel as well. And I actually just copied this build from him, which utilizes the Headhunter really well, and I just like the way the 5-way carry works, and I'll probably do that next league as well. At least I want to go for that next league and get that running as soon as possible as well. So yeah, I think this league was all in all pretty mediocre. Ultimatum was an okay mechanic, and that's about it. There was no, you know, I was so hyped for this league, and I tested out a lot of things that I missed in the Ritual League that I didn't play that much. So I did have a lot of content to play there. But yeah, really looking forward to 3.15 and hopefully get the Headhunter a little bit sooner. But yeah, like I said, don't stress it. You can get it, I think, in my pace with 3 to 4 hours a day. Maybe in 1.5 to 2 weeks, just casually playing a few hours a day, right? It's definitely doable. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. If you like this kind of content and you want to see more of this, please consider subscribing, helps out a lot, and liking the video. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.